The fact, like, a lot of people, I don't know, a lot of people, I feel like you gotta start putting out the good, like, not that, I feel like you so chill, you don't care about putting out the good.
The entire hip-hop world has been buzzing ever since news broke about the court decision involving King Harris, a ruling that instantly shifted the direction of his life and sent shockwaves through social media. For weeks, rumors had been circulating, speculation had been rising, and fans were waiting for answers about what would happen next in the ongoing drama surrounding T.I. and Tiny's most unpredictable son. But when the decision finally dropped, it hit harder than anyone expected.
My name King, you know it, and your mama know it. On game what? On game what?
Suddenly, the conversations weren't about viral clips, interviews, or online rants. They were about consequences, responsibility, and the heavy reality that comes with living in the spotlight while navigating adulthood. Insiders close to the situation started leaking early details, hinting that the ruling wasn't just a minor setback. They described it as something with real weight, something that reshapes the choices King will be allowed to make moving forward, something that changes how he moves, how he works, and how he presents himself to the public. It was a moment that created silence across social feeds because it wasn't about rumors or entertainment anymore. It was about real life finally catching up. And for someone who has lived most of their teen and adult years under cameras, memes, and commentary, that reality hit differently. Fans immediately remembered the countless viral moments that brought King into the spotlight long before any legal situation ever surfaced. The arguments, the interviews, the personality clashes, the bold statements, everything that once looked like harmless entertainment suddenly felt like early warning signs of deeper issues. And while nobody knows what goes on behind the scenes in a family, the internet built its own storyline about King being at a crossroads long before this ruling arrived. King needed a wake-up call, something that would push him to reevaluate his environment, his behavior, and the people influencing him. Others felt sympathy, pointing out that growing up in the public eye, under constant scrutiny, with a famous last name and relentless pressure, can distort anyone's sense of direction. They said the court ruling might be the thing that forces King to slow down long enough to understand the long-term consequences of living fast. The ruling also created a new chapter in how the public views the Harris family.
I'm kind, energetic, nice dude, man.
T.I. and Tiny have spent years trying to manage their son's image, offering guidance publicly and privately whenever controversy arose. But a court decision changes the landscape because it leaves the family with limited control over the narrative. No amount of celebrity influence can completely override a moment where the legal system steps in and sets boundaries. Whether the consequences involve restrictions, programs, supervision, or something more symbolic, the effect is the same. King Harris is now entering a phase where every move matters, every choice counts, and every step forward will shape how he rebuilds or redefines his reputation. And for the first time in a long time, the conversation isn't about entertainment, it's about transformation. As the news spread, the online community reacted instantly, and the reactions couldn't have been more divided. On one side were the fans who felt genuine concern for King, arguing that the legal system can be harsh on young black men trying to find themselves in a world obsessed with celebrity culture. They stressed that King is still figuring out adulthood, still discovering who he is, and still learning what it means to manage responsibility in real time. These fans urged compassion, reminding everyone that growth often comes from struggle, not perfection. They saw the ruling not as devastation, but as a possible turning point, a moment that redirects King toward a more grounded future. On the other side were those who felt the decision was overdue. These voices pointed to King's string of viral moments, heated live streams, intense interviews, and confrontational exchanges, claiming that he had been spiraling for months without acknowledging how serious his actions could become. They argued that the court stepping in was the only thing capable of bringing balance, structure, and reality to a situation that had been spiraling out of control. From their perspective, accountability wasn't punishment, it was a necessary correction. Then there were the neutral observers, analysts, bloggers, podcasters, and content creators who saw the situation as part of a larger conversation about how fame affects the next generation. They pointed out how social media amplifies mistakes, rewards chaos, and pushes young celebrities into the spotlight long before they're emotionally prepared to handle that pressure.
I smell some weed in the car, so our procedure is we gotta check it. Is there anything else that I need to be aware of?
Man, I don't want y'all to check the car.
I can't hear you.
I don't want y'all to search the car.
Well, I understand that, but if I smell weed, that's probable cause to search the vehicle.
You're not gonna find nothing. You're gonna find my guns.
Just multiple guns?
I got a stick, an AR.
For them, King's situation wasn't just about legal consequences. It was about cultural consequences. It was about how online entertainment often masks the very real challenges young people face in navigating identity, purpose, and social expectations. But what really pushed this narrative into overdrive was the focus on King's relationship with his family. Even though the ruling specifically affected him, many saw this as a turning point for the Harris household overall. People questioned whether T.I. and Tiny's attempts to guide King had been ignored, misunderstood, or simply overshadowed by the loudness of the internet. They wondered whether King's famous upbringing helped him or hurt him. And they debated whether being raised in wealth and fame makes accountability easier or harder. In the middle of all this discussion sat King himself, a young man who, regardless of the commentary, must now face the future shaped by a decision he didn't expect. His next steps will be watched closely by both supporters and critics. And while he may not have chosen this path, he now carries the responsibility of navigating it. This is the reality of fame in the modern era. One decision can shift everything. One court ruling can silence the noise long enough for clarity to break through. And one moment can redefine how a young star learns to move forward with maturity instead of impulse. King Harris is experiencing that lesson right now, and the world is watching his response unfold. As the hours passed after the ruling, new layers of reporting emerged, painting the moment as more than just a legal setback. It became a cultural turning point. Commentators started exploring how this decision might reshape King's public persona. For years, he has been known as the outspoken, unpredictable, and sometimes rebellious figure within the Harris household. Some admired his confidence, others criticized his impulsiveness, but everyone agreed he had a larger-than-life presence. Now, all of that energy must adapt to a new reality. Many fans began pointing out that King's situation reflects a pattern seen in the children of celebrities. Growing up with fame can distort expectations, create entitlement traps, and produce intense internal conflict.
Steve Sadar reached out to me looking to make a deal on behalf of T.I. and Tiny. And I told Steve Sadar that my clients want justice. So if the deal involves Tiny and T.I. turning themselves in and admitting to the crime that they've committed, then fine, we got a deal. But if it does not, then I would prefer to have the investigators do their work and to bring criminal charges against Tiny and T.I.
The pressure to perform, defend, and assert oneself is relentless. Every mistake becomes a headline. Every disagreement becomes a narrative. And every viral moment becomes part of a long-term perception that's hard to escape. So when this court decision arrived, it wasn't just a legal consequence. It was a symbolic reset. It became a moment where the noise of social media clashed with the seriousness of adulthood. King couldn't talk his way out of it. He couldn't stream his way out of it. He couldn't shout his way out of it. He had to face it. And that shift from digital chaos to real-world accountability is something fans couldn't ignore. The ruling also ignited discussions about maturity and growth. Some viewers argued this might be the moment King finally learns the value of discipline and self-control. They said the challenges he faces now could fuel a transformation, helping him build resilience, purpose, and clarity that outshines the turbulence of his past. Others warned that the court's decision could isolate him further, making it harder for him to trust the public or navigate relationships without feeling judged. Meanwhile, cultural analysts pointed out how this situation reflects a bigger trend in modern entertainment: the collision between social media personas and real-world responsibilities. King Harris isn't the first celebrity figure to face this challenge, but his journey is one of the most visible because he grew up in an era where every moment is documented. The drama that once seemed like entertainment suddenly feels like a cautionary tale, reminding everyone that fame doesn't protect anyone from consequences. Yet, despite the seriousness, some fans expressed optimism. They said King has charisma, potential, and a strong foundation through his family that could help him bounce back stronger than before. They argued that sometimes the hardest moments create the biggest transformations, and this ruling might be the catalyst King needs to rewrite his story. In the end, the ruling didn't just shift King Harris's path, it shifted the way fans interpret his entire journey. And now, the world waits to see how he decides to rise from this pivotal moment. With the court ruling reshaping the public narrative, attention quickly shifted toward the Harris family itself. Commentators wondered how the decision would influence the dynamics within the household, considering how vocal the family has been about guiding King toward a better path. T.I. and Tiny have long been known for their efforts to balance fame, family, and discipline, but the court stepping in adds a new layer of complexity. Instead of parenting through advice or intervention, they must now help King navigate legally defined boundaries.
I don't wish it on him, you
Right.
know what I'm saying? I don't wish it on him, and I love him through it. Whatever he going through, I love him through it. Much criticism as I receive about my son, I would like to shed light on the fact.
Fans began speculating on how the family might respond. Some said this could bring them closer together, reinforcing the importance of unity and emotional support during challenging times. Others argued that the ruling might create tension, especially if King begins feeling frustrated, restricted, or misunderstood. Every family struggles with guiding young adults into maturity, but when fame intensifies every step, the process becomes even more complicated. One major discussion point that kept reappearing was how the Harris family's public persona influences the situation. For years, they have been known as one of hip-hop's most visible households, a family with fame, influence, and an ability to turn their lives into reality TV moments, interviews, and cultural conversations. That visibility, while beneficial in some areas, created pressure for their children to live up to expectations that no teenager or young adult should have to carry. This court ruling forced the family into a quieter space. No cameras, no edits, no commentary, just reality. The ruling didn't target the family dynamic, but the family must now adjust to protect King's well-being and guide him through whatever restrictions he faces. Fans agreed that this might be the hardest chapter for the Harris family yet because it forces them to prioritize healing over image. At the same time, some cultural analysts noted that the ruling could help strengthen the family's commitment to accountability. They said the situation might encourage King to build new routines, new habits, and new mindsets. Instead of focusing on defending himself through social media appearances, he may be pushed to focus on building discipline, reflecting on his direction, and identifying the values he wants to carry into adulthood. In many ways, the legal decision created an opportunity for transformation. Not through punishment, but through structure. And structure might be exactly what King needs to regain control of his life and separate the online persona from real-life purpose. This moment also reshaped how the public views the Harris family. Instead of being seen as entertainers, they are now being seen as parents dealing with real issues, real challenges, and real consequences. And that humanized them in a way fans didn't expect. Regardless of how they choose to navigate the road ahead, one thing is certain: this ruling has united the family in a new fight. A fight not against the public, but against the obstacles that come with growing up under a microscope. As the story developed further, fans and commentators began turning their attention toward what comes next for King Harris. The court ruling may have set limitations or responsibilities, but it also set expectations. People want to know whether King will rise to the challenge or allow the moment to define him negatively. And because his journey has been so public, every small step will be watched. Some fans believe this could be a major turning point where King reinvents himself. They argued that adversity often shapes the strongest leaders, and that this situation might spark a new level of maturity in him. Whether he becomes a cautionary tale or an inspiration depends entirely on how he responds from this moment forward. The court ruling didn't close a door, it created a mirror. And what King chooses to see in that mirror will determine the next chapter of his life. Now that the ruling has settled into public consciousness, the focus shifts from speculation to transformation. King Harris stands at a crossroads, facing one of the most defining moments of his young life. The consequences may be restrictive, but they also carry lessons many young adults never learn until it's too late. The court decision isn't about ending King's future, it's about reshaping it. It's a forceful reminder that every action comes with accountability, and every choice creates momentum toward a destiny that must be chosen carefully. Fans, critics, analysts, and casual observers all understand one thing: King's next steps matter more than any viral clip ever could. This is a moment where maturity, discipline, and growth will speak louder than any interview or online rant. King has a rare opportunity to redefine himself not as a controversial figure, but as someone who learned from adversity and used it as fuel to rise above it. Commentators believe the court ruling might be the moment he finally stops performing for social media and starts performing for his own future. They hope he recognizes that adulthood doesn't allow the same room for reckless behavior or impulsive decisions. Instead, it demands intention, responsibility, and vision. And King, with his natural charisma and bold personality, has the potential to turn this setback into a stepping stone. Meanwhile, the Harris family's role in this next phase will be crucial. Their support, guidance, and boundaries will help determine how King navigates the emotional and psychological weight of this moment. They imagine King stepping back from the drama, investing in personal growth, and finding healthier ways to express his voice, whether through business, creativity, or mentorship. To them, this ruling isn't the end, it's the beginning of a new era. Other fans remain skeptical, questioning whether King will actually change or whether the pressure of fame will continue influencing his behavior. They point to past controversies, arguing that he tends to react emotionally rather than strategically. But even these skeptics admit that the severity of the ruling might be the only thing capable of forcing real introspection. Meanwhile, content creators began exploring the broader message behind the situation. They said King's journey is a reminder that young people, even famous ones, need guidance, structure, and patience. They pointed out how easily fame can distort priorities and how quickly the internet weaponizes someone's mistakes against them. They argued that King's story reflects the challenges facing an entire generation raised on social media, where every move can go viral before someone has time to think. This narrative also reignited discussions about the responsibilities of young celebrities. Many people believe public figures have an obligation to carry themselves responsibly because of their influence. Others argue that expecting perfection from young adults is unfair and unrealistic. King's situation became a battleground for these two opposing philosophies, with both sides fiercely defending their point of view. Yet, through all the debates, one theme kept emerging: redemption. Fans said if King embraces this moment instead of resisting it, he could come out stronger, wiser, and more focused. They believe he has the charisma, passion, and boldness needed to transform his life's direction. They pointed out that many artists and public figures have made mistakes in their youth only to evolve into leaders later on. Fans have expressed confidence that the family will rally together, recognizing that the ruling affects all of them, not just King, and many believe that unity will be the key to helping him rebuild stronger than before. Still, this moment will not be easy. Growth rarely is. Public opinion will remain divided. Some will root for King's rise, others will wait for another stumble. But the real power lies in King's hands, not the public's. He has the ability to shift the narrative, silence the critics, and carve out a path that honors his strengths instead of amplifying his weaknesses. In the bigger picture, this situation represents the modern struggle of young public figures, the battle between identity and expectation, pressure and purpose, fame and reality. King Harris is not the first to face it, and he won't be the last. But he does have the potential to be one of the few who rise above it with clarity and maturity. His story isn't over. It's evolving. His reputation isn't ruined, it's being redefined. His future isn't limited, it's being challenged. And if King truly understands the weight of this moment, he might emerge from it with a sense of direction that transforms his life forever. This court decision may have changed everything, but it may also be exactly what King Harris needed to finally unlock the next version of himself. If you enjoyed this deep dive breakdown, Make sure to like the video and subscribe for more engaging commentary, culture stories, and behind-the-scenes analysis.